Hi guys, it's really exciting to be talking to you today. We're really looking forward to you coming here to Bede, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about politics. So my name is Mrs. Sutton, and I'm one of the teachers from the History and Politics department. And this is going to be a subject that you've never studied before, so it's super exciting. And so basically, the first thing to say is that we can't wait for you to start learning about it. And you're going to learn about it through the Year 9 carousel, which is basically where you get to try out lots of cool different subjects for about 10 lessons at a time before you change to the next one. And you're going to see politics twice in that time in your first year. And so there are loads of different things that we think about. Why would you study politics? What does it mean? What does it involve? What's going on in the world right now? And kind of things that you probably already know quite a lot about. So as you can see from some of these images, you might recognize that guy, Boris Johnson, or even Donald Trump, and even some of the past prime ministers on the screen like Winston Churchill. Now, there's loads of cool things that we do in politics. We figure out what it means. Why should you care? We talk about loads of really cool and big questions that you might have. And it's a great time to take some quizzes, do some debating, and hear what your different opinions are. So really look forward to starting to hear about some of those. So you might want to start thinking about over the summer, well, what's going on in the world right now? What interests me? And kind of big questions like that. What we do in some of our first lessons is we do a mock election. So we figure out actually who would vote for what. What kind of things are you interested in? Who can persuade you, or can you persuade others? And then we have an election where we get different people to vote for different parties who are represented by different members of the class, which could be one of you in not too many months. And we find out actually who would win and what party you'd want in control of your country. So the way that we do that is we start to think about actually, what would you care about? Is it things like the NHS or the economy and things to do with money? Is it about education or transport? Maybe the environment, which is a really big deal at the moment, about housing or equality and those kind of social issues. So there's loads of different things for you to think about. And we also start to look at who the different parties are in the UK. So there will be some that you know really well, maybe like the Conservative, the Labour Party, or the Liberal Democrats. Maybe you've heard of the Green Party or the SNP in Scotland or UKIP. But there are lots of different political parties who make up the political spectrum in Britain and across the world. And we'll be learning about lots of different places and their political parties, which will be really, really cool. Of course, by learning about parties, you need to learn what they stand for. So we'll be figuring out what these manifestos are and kind of the ideas that they say, this is what we want to do and what we want to put into action. And you can start to think about actually whether they did that or not, whether we trust them, and what kind of things are they standing for? And is that what the people of that country really want? Which will be really interesting. So we'll have a look at lots of different examples of that, from things like Brexit to the recent election to the pandemic. There's loads of different ways that we can look at this from. We're also going to look at the idea of different political systems. So we're thinking about actually, is democracy the very best form of government? Are there other ideas? And you'll see loads on the screen now from things like fascism, dictatorships, and communism. So it links really well with other subjects like history, where you start to think about those in a bit more detail. So that would be really, really cool. And you'll probably find that you know a little bit about those already. We'll then look at places like the House of Lords and the House of Commons, and what they mean, what do they do, and also the political system in the UK as a whole, so that you can really start to understand what's going on and why it's so important. And then we'll finish off with loads of big questions that you might think about that you want answering. So for example, thinking about social justice, thinking about things like terrorism or cooperation in the world, and just looking at those really big issues and questions that you probably want answered. And we'll start to tackle those in your second term of politics. So we're really excited that you're coming, and hopefully you're really looking forward to getting involved in all of the different subjects that are on offer. So hopefully we will see you soon. Bye.